abbiamo nello studio il primo ospite di oggi, Piero Fioretti, presidente, nuovo presidente del Veneto Club. E vabbè, diamo buon pomeriggio e Happy New Year, Piero.
Grazie Antonio, grazie per l'invito.
Sì, bello. Allora, parliamo con Piero per vari motivi. Intanto, sì, nuovo presidente del Veneto Club, e stiamo facendo così una serie, per così dire, sui clubs e le associazioni italiane, sul loro presente, il loro futuro e come ci si rinnova, quando ci si riesce. Quindi diciamo, nuovo presidente, e soprattutto perché interessante del Veneto Club anche per un altro motivo, perché a volte la gente pensa che il Veneto Club è chiuso, non esiste più. Solo un paio di settimane fa uno dei miei ospiti ha detto una cosa del genere. Lui andava con il papà da piccolo e ha detto adesso non c'è più. Is that true?
Well, I think once they sold the club back in, I think it was 2013. So, scusa se parlo un po' inglese e italiano.
No, that's cool.
The membership was not as what it is now, and then there was an issue around where we were going to have the club, because the future was we weren't going to have a club in a physical sense, but we could still have a club with the members and meet at another place, and that's where we're ended up now at Woodville West Orange Football Club, where we've rented out the bottom floor there for our office, which is open 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, from 9:30 to 12:30, and our club is open for the members on Friday night and Sunday night. So yes, I think when I only joined the club 3 years ago, 2022-23, and it was through the insistence of Liana Castellan, who has passed away now. She was our secretary for 15 years, and she enticed me and not begged me, but just encouraged me to join the committee, and I said, I don't know if I can do it, but yeah, anyway, I joined the committee, and in 2024, I was on the management committee, and I took over the responsibility of Bruno Basso, who was a long-term member of the Veneto Club, who looked after the two properties that the club had bought.
Yeah, and in fact, you had the 50th anniversary last year, and that was a big event. I couldn't go because I was somewhere else that time. So obviously that shows that the Veneto Club is not there at all.
That's exactly right. I mean, I wasn't involved in the coordination of it. I was still on the committee, and when I was there, I couldn't believe the size. It was 580 members.
Wow.
And families at the entertainment centre. It was a wonderful night, and I think from that sprung up a lot of interest, saying, "Oh, the Veneto Club does exist," but not in the physical sense. And so that, and plus what I've been involved in the last 12 months is La Sagra del Nord, with the Italian festival of the Fogla Furlani, where the Veneto Club and the Furlani, and there's a couple of other northern clubs like Alabarda and a couple of others.
La Sagra del Nord.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that started 2 years ago, and the new Gen Committee are the ones who run it, and I think that's created a lot of interest about the culture and heritage of the Veneto Club. You know, we do Panini and Sajica, then we do Crossbilly and so on. And it brings back a bit of the heritage of the culture and the food and that. So I think that and the 50th anniversary, no doubt that was a magnificent anniversary, and I think that's increased our membership quite considerably.
Okay, the 50th. Well, tell us something about that evening. On that same evening, Radio Italia Uno had a 10th anniversary dinner.
Congratulations.
At the Adelaide Oval. So, yes, and that was a lovely night. So, tell me, what happened? You had what? You said almost 600 people?
Almost 600 people. They had a great band up there. They sang Italian songs and English songs. I forgot the name of the band, but they were a good band. Yeah. And the beauty about what I like was seeing all these members there, especially the founder, getting up and dancing on the floor, with song, which is made my heart feel really glad to see them there, And the what impressed me was there was 3 of our first committee dated back in 1970 who were still present at came to the festival. So that was at our anniversary. That was George Busato, who's still alive, and Ronaldo Stecker, he's still alive, and Gino, his last name now, sorry, but Gino passed away last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 50 years, so would have been 1974?
74, yeah.
Wow. Well, we just moved to 1972, so I wasn't here when the club was created. So a bunch of people got together, and I guess a lot of them actually physically built that.
Well, the first book that came out in the first 25 years of the club, it had a history of how the club was built, and I couldn't believe it. They built it in 84 weeks on Saturdays and Sundays, and they donated their time. Materials were different. But their time, and a lot of those foundation members worked hard to create an incredible club. And if I remember rightly, I think it stemmed from the Fogala Falam back in the early 70s when there was a little bit of disagreement, and a few of these Veneto got together and they got cracking and they built this beautiful club. So it was, and in the heydays I heard it was well attended, 600 plus people for dinners and discos, and it's back in the 70s and 80s. So it was a great club, and still is a great club. Don't get me wrong.
It was very active, certainly, and as you said, a great club, a lot of presence, and you. Well, actually, I'm going to skip a bit now to your personal story. So what's your connection, Veneto?
Well, my dad was from the province of Treviso, Chandra Montello's his Paese, and my mother's Toscana from Lucca.
Uh-huh.
So Dad came out here after the Second World War in 1949 and moved up to, he had a cousin in Broken Hill, but he ended up working in the mica fields in the Harts Range. And Mum, he didn't know my mum, he met her through a photo. It's amazing how she came over here, and she came in 53, got in December 53, got married in January, and I was born 9 months later in Alice Springs.
Hang on, so he married a lady from Lucca?
Yeah.
So this by some intermediary?
Yeah, there was
not someone from your own, his own villages?
No, it was amazing because Dad, when he was here in Adelaide, before he went up to Harts Range, connected with Ariano Rossi, which was a Toscano from the same place, and he lived in the third house where my mother lived. And he had a photo of my mum, and that's how my dad.
Wow.
And my mum, my nonas and nona from Lucca went up to Treviso, in province of Treviso, to meet my nona there, and then she got on the boat. And I couldn't believe she landed in Melbourne, went straight to Alice Springs. I said, Mum, that's the middle of Outback. But, I've got to say, a lot of those seniori, like my mother and others, they came out here and they worked hard. They worked hard to establish what they did. I take my hat off to all of the Italians that came out here back in the 50s.
Wow, okay, from Lucca to Alice Springs, you would say quite a culture shock.
It was a culture shock, and then from Alice Springs, I was 4 years old, went to Cooper Pedy. That was even worse culture shock.
Okay.
We lived in a dugout, and Dad was fortunate he found some open, but that's another story.
Yeah. Okay, we might come back to that.
Yeah.
So you said there was the 50th anniversary, and you mentioned also earlier La Sagra del Nord.
Yeah.
And that's something that the next generation
runs through the Veneto Club.
What's this next generation?
Right. Well, when I joined the club, I heard the next gen was there, and I found out they established about 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They used to have a youth committee back in the early days of the Veneto Club, but when they sold it, sort of disbanded, and they've got this new Gen Committee, which is made up of 4 ladies and 1 person and 1 male. You're happy to?
Yeah.
Alicia Pastro is the chair, and then you've got Alicia Basso and Lydia Franciscos, and Eddie Bin. And Franca Raz is on our committee. She's the liaison officer between the management committee and they've done really, last couple of years, the segment's been outstanding. There are over 600 people there at the Veneto Club, so it's been a success.
Well, just even the concept of having the next generation committee, next gen, is very interesting because, as I said, one of the themes I wanted to explore is renewal, generational renewal, strategic renewal in the clubs.
Yes.
And I heard of Bassel. Bassel is another.
Alicia's the daughter of Bruno Basso.
Okay.
But yeah, this renewal generation renewal. It's certainly interesting because, as I said, when I started, it was about 230 members. In 2 years since then, we've jumped to 450, and a lot of those new members are not necessarily the first generation, more the second generation, which is around the 35, 40, you've got young families and that. And that's where the next gen has come in and sort of running a few events and things like that, which is not just for the younger ones, but also for the older members. They can, it's an open thing, but they've actually certainly had some great attendance. Like they ran a grappa night was it last year, and we had not only the older ones there, we had the younger ones there, which was a history about grappa in the northern area. So it was very interesting.
Well, grappa is a very interesting topic too, and was Roberto De Bay might have been involved. I think.
Finify, you know Finify?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Christian, I forgot his last Christian, he did the presentation.
Okay.
But I heard that name.
Yes. Well, Roberta, I've met Roberta. She's a researcher, came out here from Padova to work to the Australian Wine and Research Institute at Kuwait. And she's been doing interesting research around grapes and growing grapes in South Australia. Growing grapes, and I guess being based here. Okay, so you have a main committee.
We've got a management committee,
and this next generation committee. That's interesting. That's good. How did this idea come?
Sorry?
How did this next generation committee come?
Well, I don't know the history of it because, as I said, I've only been there a couple of years now, 3 years. But Robert Grifanti was the president. Well, I took over. He was there for at least 10 years as president.
Robert Grifanti.
Grifanti, yeah. And he was the president for at least 10 years. And in that 10 years, the new Gen Committee started forming. And I think it was probably around about when we started looking at events that we could run for the new Gen. And that's when they formed this new Gen Committee. I've got a few lists of events that are coming up for them.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah, they got one. So on the 31st of January, you've got the Night Owls Lawn Bowls night at the Woodville West Torrens, and it's $10 for members, and $15 for members, and non-members $25. And they get a panini and salchicha and a free game of bowls. So it's open to kids. Kids can't play bowls, but it's open to the younger ones and the older ones.
Night bowls, that's nice, because you have nice evening temperatures, and it's a nice environment. The green, it's open. Yeah, okay, good.
And also they got in May they have, in conjunction with Mother's Day, got an Italian movie in Semaphore, which they advertise on their bulletin. So putting up an event there.
In Semaphore?
In Semaphore, yeah. Mm-hmm. An Italian movie in May, that's just told me.
Yeah.
And then in the winter months, they hold monthly dinners on Friday nights at the Woodville West Torrens Football Club. And that's for all members, not just the new Gen, but it's also for our members as well.
So Friday, was it the first Friday of the month? Do you know?
I'm not sure it's the first Friday, but it's on a Friday night, and it's
every Friday.
One Friday a month.
Yeah,
it's a little bit different to the ones that we run as the monthly lunches for the seniors. Then they got a tombola and dinner night sometime down next year.
Beautiful.
And then, of course, we're back to La Saga with the Fogla for next Italian festival in November, October, November. So I'll be involved in that as well.
Okay, so that's a reasonable calendar of events.
They've got to fit it there,
Yeah.
And the management committee, we've got a few events as well with our, we hold a monthly lunch, which incorporates good discount to members. And then we hold we have I don't know if you heard of it, the Ridiculous Festival. It's a tradition of the Veneto. They've got the Pala Rossa. And it's a competition that has been going on for a long time. And they had it back in the old days. And we had one of those events every year. And it's well attended by everyone. So.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Yeah, and I'll just have a short break with some messages from our sponsors, and we'll come back to speak to Piero Fioretti, President of the Veneto Club. Sì, state ascoltando Radio Italia 1 Adelaide, qui Antonio Dottore con un programma di attualità e approfondimento, e abbiamo nello studio Piero Fioretti, nuovo presidente del Veneto Club. Allora, stavamo parlando, we were talking about Radicchio Festival.
Yes.
Radicchio Festival. Tell me about this.
Well, the history, they've had that for years, even going back when they were down at Two Good Avenue at Beverly. So it's a competition, and it's a very hot competition.
Yeah.
Because we get about 10 or 12 of these people that ride these ridiculous home, and they bring them up. And some at that night we have. And there's a couple of judges that do the final, who gets the first, second, third prize. But they're massive, I can't believe it. But then we sell them for, whoever the highest bidder. So it's a great festival, and it's a remembrance of, I guess, of the old heritage of the ridiculous.
And of the market gardens.
And the market gardens, that's right. It's interesting, I didn't realise that the Veneto Market Garden started in 1925. It's only through Madeline Reagan, that she does these blogs on the Veneto Club Market Gardens, that I've learned the history of it. It's amazing. They used to grow vegetables and everything down there, and they used to bring it to the market here in Adelaide. Central, the one on East Terrace there. So they're Veneto are quite a resourceful group of people. They did well.
Yes, okay, and we're talking about some research that's been done on the contributions of Veneto to So this next gen, it's obviously it's very good. It's very important to see this contribution.
Yep.
And they, as you said, you were saying off air before, during that break, these people who are younger, have families, but are heavily involved. But you said they're are they bringing families into the club, into their activities?
Yes, well, these events, I see young kids, their children, come to like the Friday night dinner, they have special for the kids, maybe nuggets and a few other things that they like. So, yes, we're seeing more of the younger families bringing their children too. So it's good to see, because I think that's the future. I mean, I just turned 70 last year. I don't know how long we're going to live, but then the foundation members are still there, which I think the future of the club is the new generation, but we don't forget the foundation members that we've still got, and we honour them and do what we can for them.
Well, and you're an example of renewal, because there's a new president.
That's right.
And so what brought you into the club? Your father, is he an active member of the Veneto Club?
I retired when I was 60 after 40 years in state government, and I wanted to do something. I met this Trevisano, and he said, why don't you come down to Sunny Grey Farm for a picnic? Trevisani have their picnics down there. And I got down there and I joined the club, and then a couple of years later I got on the committee. I'm the vice president of Trevisani. With a couple in the secretary, and Marty Martin's the president, and that got me going into going, because it brought the culture back for me. My dad from Treviso, and so they had sausages and everything, Italian sausages, you name it down there. It was fantastic. So then a guy who was going to church, St. Pius X, he's a Veneto. He's from Carlo Bergamini, his name is, and his wife, Bianca, invited me to a lunch at the Veneto Club for a monthly lunch. And that's when I started, and my wife and I went there, Mary, my wife, and it was great having lunch there with all in town. Got to meet a lot of them who knew my dad. My dad used to have the lawn system on Weymouth Street in the 60s, and there was a lot of vanity there and average and boarding houses. There was all right next door. And so I got involved, and as I said, I joined in 22, 23, and then Liana kept sending me encouragement to join the committee, and I put my name forward, and I was in Bulleen, at the Veneto Club Bulleen, when she gave me a call, said, "You're in. You got through. You've been nominated, and you got through." So, and that's when I took over as the property liaison officer from Bruno Busman. And then this year, the AGM, Robert decided to pull that to not to be president anymore. But he's still on there. We didn't get any new members, which is unfortunate, but we'll push that next year. We want some new, younger members to come on. So he's still there for another 2 years to give me guidance and advice.
Good, so it's good to see that the club is able to renew itself, regenerate from that point of view, and that you've got the next gen happening. Now, we're getting on with time, so you mentioned some of you retired. When you were 60. So what, just briefly about your professional background, what were you doing?
I went to Rostreville College, and when I finished my trip, I got into accounting at the Institute of Technology, but I was good at accounting, but economics threw me out. So I flunked economics twice, so that precluded me from doing accounting. I got through 2 years of accounting. So I went for an interview in public service, and I got a job as a pay clerk. And then I worked my way through. I went back and finished my associate diploma in business management. And then I retired as the corporate service director of Zero Waste SA, as a statute authority in South Australia, looking at reducing waste and recycling and all that. So, so I've got an accounting background, but more of a management background.
Okay, at Zero Waste SA, is that still called that?
No, it's called Green Industries SA now.
Okay. Very big topic, important topic.
And they get the levy from the solid waste levy still. Zero Waste started, and they still, the Green Industry still get that. Treasury give them an allocation of it. They control the funds, but it's under that umbrella of Zero Waste started it, and it's still ongoing, the solid waste levy. So. And they're doing really good things for industries at the same now. They're looking at circularity, where you got the product that's formed doesn't go to the dump, it gets recycled, and maybe they can design things that are more renewed and rather than dumped. So hopefully they'll get there. I'm pretty sure it will, because the way the world's going around, I worry about the landfills and all that getting filled up.
Cool. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Piero, for coming to Radio Tandelma Adelaide. There's a bit where the Veneto Club is and your approach to generate the money. Current renewal through you, a few other people, but also through the next gen committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Antonio. Grazie. Thank you. Thank you very much. How you going? Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah, well done. Yeah, so you got what, 99? Did you get that 8? So